My parents, Edith and Josef Mincberg, always stressed education and community service, and I believe led them to their great involvement in Holocaust Museum Houston, which became their second home.
I couldn't think of warmer, more engaging people than Joe and Edith Mincberg. They were dedicated, hardworking, intelligent, and were extremely passionate supporters of the establishment of the museum from the very beginning.
Joe and Edith were the original founding group of the museum, and they gave their time and their expertise and their passion and their commitment and encouraged everybody else to work a little bit harder.
They were understated, they were strong, they were supportive. To the experience of building the museum, there were no more important people that for me were part of that story movement to get this built than the Mincbergs.
Joe and Edith were very instrumental from day one. Not only have they contributed so much to the Holocaust Museum in terms of history and monetary and bringing people in, they have been pillars of the community for many, many years. Great contributors.
My parents always taught us to be good, upstanding people. We always knew their stories and what they endured, but they did not dwell in the past. They always moved forward.
I was very privileged to be given the honor to sign the purchase contract for the building that we're housed in today with Joe.
We always knew he was there for us to go to, and it was very comforting to know we had this wise man who we could count on, who gave of his time to help us.
When we needed something, or when we didn't need something, when Joe saw a need, he filled it.
He was just a caring, loving person, and I feel very, very blessed to have known him and to know Edith. They've brought up amazing children and grandchildren. What a legacy to leave behind.
My dad's involvement, seeing the museum being built, was of such great satisfaction for him. It was a place for him to come to remember his family. And for my mother, it was a labor of love through the years.
Edith was the chair of the Library and Artifacts Committee, and from day one she started building up a library and trying to get artifacts for the permanent exhibit. And she did an incredible job, and the library has been so successful because she's continued to support it these past 20 years, not just in the beginning.
At the very beginning of the museum, we took oral histories of survivors and liberators, and Edith was in charge of archiving those materials as well.
In terms of the destroyed communities, I don't think we would have been as successful with the project without Edith's knowledge of the communities, of the language, and she was a tremendous resource to us. And I am just amazed at her stamina, her intelligence, her eagerness to make sure everything is correct and factual, and it has been a real honor for me to work with her.
She's done amazing work, and she loves every bit of it. I am so inspired by her drive, her energy, her enthusiasm. I aspired to be like Edith Mincberg when I grew up.
My parents established the Mincberg Gallery, and I think it's so important not only for my family, all the survivors' families, and for future generations.
One of the first large gifts we received was the Mincberg's gift to create the gallery, which would enable us to have traveling exhibits and changing exhibits to further tell about the Holocaust. So their gift allowed us to have the space in which to do that.
In many ways, Joe and Edith Mincberg were the guiding spirit of the establishment of the museum.
Joe and Edith have such a generous heart and such a beautiful spirit combined, and it's so special that the museum is honoring both of them.
There wouldn't be a museum without the Mincbergs. There just wouldn't be one. And if there was one, it wouldn't be the same.
Even though what they've experienced throughout the Holocaust, they have demonstrated over and over again what it is to be kind and loving and forgiving. They have been true guardians of the human spirit.